Hello, welcome to Voice Building Junkies. This week is all about breathing, and in this episode we're going to ask the question, is breathing for singing, or the techniques of breathing for singing, important for beginning singers? Okay, and I can weigh on this pretty well because I've been a beginning singer not once, but twice. So in these past 6.5 years, I started over when I was 49. Things are going really well. I'm learning really fast. I'm improving fast. In fact, I get better and better. I'm improving faster and faster this time. But when I was in my 20s, I actually took private lessons weekly for about 2.5 years, mostly from one coach who taught a method that said, forget your breathing. It's not important. Just breathe naturally. Sing like you speak. Breathe like you speak. And I really didn't learn much. And I was into it just like I am now. I mean, I was training all the time. I had exercises on cassette tape at the time. There was no internet at the time. And nothing I did in those years addressed the problems I had or gave me exercises that would solve my problems. And breathing is the most important part of singing. And what I want, because you don't know me very well, you might have a hard time trusting me. And so in this episode, I want to actually show you some quotes. You may not know who these men are, but you can check them out. They're two of the very most important men, teachers, in the history of singing. One goes back to the 19th century. His name is Giovanni Battista Lamperti. He is considered either the father of bel canto or one of them. Okay, we're going to look at two quotes from him, and the other one is Richard Miller, who is probably one of the most famous voice coaches of the 20th century, and he was also a professional operatic tenor earlier in his life as well. Okay, so let's look at the first quote where Giovanni says, and I'm going to read them to you. You can pause if you don't like me reading while you're reading, but here we go. Faulty singing is caused by awkward respiration. In fact, all bad habits of the throat are merely efforts of protection against clumsy management of breath. The foundation of all vocal study lies in control of the breath. Okay? And I say this to you because I agree with it. Like, I'm not going to show you any quotes that I don't agree with. And all the good things that are happening to my voice right now are happening because I've just completely revamped my breathing method. In fact, even in these last 6 or 7 years, I've changed it again from more of this kind of belly out, down and out breathing to the proper way, which is down, back, and wide, which is now what I do and what I teach. Okay, let's look at another quote from Giovanni. Okay, there is no doubt that the greater part of the difficulties encountered at a change of register, as well as the uneven tones within one and the same register, may be traced to faulty breathing. Okay, again, two quotes from a master saying that all our problems are traced to breathing, okay, or most of them. Now let's look at Richard Miller. This is a long quote. We're going to look at it in two different parts. So this is called on the cause of faulty diction and poor legato. So first of all, legato is what he says here, the unrelenting flow of tone. Mastery of legato is why you're training to sing. Trust me on that. Study legato a little bit. So he says, faulty diction, which is antagonistic to vocal legato, may be one of several debilitating cracks in the vocal edifice. It is often caused by that primary destroyer of legato, an insecure breath process. Legato requires mastery of appoggio. Appoggio is the Italian word for a portion of or all of the right breathing technique used by the bel canto masters, the coaches and singers of the past couple hundred years in operatic singing. But don't worry, classical and contemporary breathing is important to both. It's huge to both. Singing is singing. If you want to sing in 2 or 3 octaves, really soft notes, really strong notes, strong high notes, control over that diction and the emotion of it, breathing is everything. Here's the second part of that quote. Much impurity of vowels, blurring and smearing of phonemes into indiscriminate transition sounds, early anticipation of consonants, or heavily leaning on them, exaggerated accentuation that attempts to mask a technique that does not allow easy articulation, all attest to an inability to maintain a coordinated and consistent flow of breath. I love Richard Miller because he's very nerdy, he's very scientific, and so take a moment to look at all these quotes, go back through the video and look at them. Richard Miller actually has another quote I won't show you here, but I love it because it's actually a really long quote, where he says that basically if you're doing work, if all your training, what I call top-down training, is vowels and consonants, before you do bottom-up training, which is breath management and phonation, he says you're basically decorating a poorly baked cake, okay? Which is like polishing a turd or putting lipstick on a pig. Okay, if you're working really hard on consonants and vowels, but your breath engine isn't worked out, you don't know how to breathe right, you're wasting your time. Okay, so I hope that helps. Breathing is very, very important for beginners. Start with breathing. Build up your knowledge of it step by step. There's all kinds of little cool exercises you can do. And then you connect those exercises and that technique into exercises like semi-occluded exercises that begin to involve the vocal folds. And you build from the bottom up. Okay? I hope that helps. There's other episodes this week about breathing. Please study them all. They're going to give you a really nice big picture of how to make that work for you. Okay? I'll see you in those episodes.